So I don't know what this podcast was about. Like today, well, it's not just today, but for the last few days, I've been talking with my collaborator. What should we do for the next round of like, I don't know. We talk like have we record conversations, and we had an idea of inviting guests, and but at the same point, at the same time, I thought I should do my own podcast so that I can talk with people and and record it instead of just having a chat, which probably is nice. It's a little bit glitchy, this camera, but it's okay. Um, Maybe I switch to another one if that's still possible. Anyways, so yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself. Now it's another camera, but it's okay.
Um,
I'm Naoto,
yeah.
by the way.
Zef, hi Naoto. Nice meeting you. I mean,
Virtually,
we know each
yes.
other like for a year, but um, since we're kind of limited to virtual spaces, I started to be more interested in platforms like VR chat, and yeah, I'm Luise, and before last year I didn't had any idea about virtual reality at all, and also not about the scene of gaming, and that was like super interesting to me to explore that. And now I'm kind of appearing in different skins and the zooms and things, and
I see.
I mean, I've been focused mainly on photography my whole studies, and now I suddenly get into 3D graphics, and that's super interesting to me, and a very big new ground to explore.
But how is it like? Is it like something totally different, or do you? Okay, so I actually wanted to ask you a little bit more about the photography before going to VR.
Mhm.
Um, so you studied photography, and like maybe why is not a good question, but like what was your expectation? Like what then? Well, that is why, but
I mean, I've been interested in photography since I'm 13 years old, so I'm like,
I
since a
see.
teenager, I'm interested in it, and it's just I loved like being around with the camera. I started actually photographing with an analog camera. So I used film, and I used black and white film basically, and I started to develop my own films. And that was yeah, to me that was so fascinating to like basically create something by my own. And I started with like my whole artistic interest started with sketching and drawing, and then I explored the camera, and I was like, yeah, that's it, that's so good. Like it's something technical where I can gain control over, and still I can produce images, and that was something that was really great to me. And I've chosen to study photography because I wanted to explore more. And after like graduating from school, I was like, yeah, what should I do with my life? I can't imagine like becoming someone in an office and like working all day. So I decided to give photography a shot, quite literally. um,
Yeah,
so yeah, then I started studying, and I basically just studied for 5 years in Essen.
yeah, yeah. And why? I mean, again, why? So then, did you like have like gap before between like finishing studies and then starting at KHM, or did you like immediately started at
Mm,
KHM?
I immediately went to KHM, and in retrospective, I feel like I should have taken a year break in between to get some rest. But also like with the current situation now, I'm also grateful for having like one normal semester at KHM where I could meet people physically, where I could um, see the spaces and be around there.
Yeah,
Um, and to me there was like this huge pressure of just being somewhere where I can work on my ideas and where I have some freedom. And I mean, there's a lot of freedom in studying, and that was something that I also enjoyed during my bachelor.
And you have now even more freedom, or is it not?
I mean, it's like kind of it depends. I mean, I've taken the whole pandemic as a chance to build my own like to build up my own equipment at home, and basically something like a studio. And I think that gives me more freedom and like when I work and how. But also in some way I feel limited because I'm very focused on the screen right now, and like
Right.
the whole online thing is like so present. I mean, it's funny because like a lot of people complain that there's no presence and like being in contact virtually with people, but I feel differently about it. Like because I'm present in front of a screen. I think that's what I'm feeling a lot of the time. And in VR it's a bit different because it feels more immersive.
And why VR? Is it just out of curiosity, or you have like some ideas before you started?
I think it was really just curiosity, and like someone told me about VR chat, and I was like, that sounds so great, like meeting people in like virtual spaces and having this kind of rooms where you can create basically whatever you would like to create, or whatever you like to have as a space. And I think that was super interesting to me, just the whole variety. And I wanted to get to know the experience because the few things I knew about VR was like a few installations that I've seen in random exhibitions, and they never really wowed me. Like it was never, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. It was more like, oh yeah, I'm not really sure how to deal with it. And I also had this kind of thinking process that maybe right now during a pandemic, this could be a complete new way to meet people, because I feel like there's some presence and like meeting people in like a game virtual environment compared to like Zooms, because
right. Sorry, but do you actually meet like new people on VR chat? I'm really afraid. That's why I'm saying.
I mean, it's taking a lot of like you have to be brave basically, because there are a lot of trolls out here. Like there are a lot of people who want to just make jokes on you. And there's a lot of kids who got VR headsets from their parents. You know, the Quest is like super affordable, and like a lot of kids got it, so they're around here. And you know the age guidelines around here is like 13 plus, so like there's a lot of young people, and that's sometimes a bit scary because they would do like they would jump into crazy avatars, and then they overload your PC and stuff like this.
Oh yeah.
And then so yeah, you have to be kind of like prepared for weird things to happen in public worlds. That's definitely true. And for me, especially since I'm female, there's also a different kind of way I'm getting approached. Like there's some dudes who use VR chat as a dating platform, so they try to hook up with me. That's like something that I didn't expect at all from being here. Like I was kind of naive, and I wasn't thinking that like I wasn't that aware that this could also be used as a dating platform, which is cool in itself, but sometimes it's a bit annoying too. And I feel like I already have like a few close friends on VR chat. I mean, I'm not really actually sure what that means for like my real life. Like, can they become like also friends for a lifetime. That's something I'm not really sure about, but I definitely have like 5, 6 people I hang around in private worlds because that's what most like VR chat users who know the platform will do. Like they will just enter private worlds, or there's this also other people who are in the private world can invite others, and that's how you meet other people. Then it's kind of like networking.
I see. Yeah, I find it's really confusing because there are like global rooms like where you land and you can enter some rooms, but then
Yeah.
oh, fortunately I had some friends who's already playing with VR chat. I mean, they almost like live in VR chat, so I visited their rooms a few times, but like always I felt like it's a little bit difficult, especially like it's funny because the name is VR chat, but it's not like you chat in the, I mean, like you don't text on VR chat, but you have to talk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's really like quite something. At least for me, it's really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Like it's really nothing like I mean there's also people who are completely relying on pens to draw something or who use gestures. There's people who refuse to talk at all or don't have a microphone. So there's actually also a different side to the platform. There's a quieter side basically. But I of course like I really get it. Like it's some people have this feeling that it helped them with their social anxiety, and others feel like it's kind of increasing it in a way because it can feel like you're locked in a room with a lot of strangers.
Yeah. Have you actually tried like other tools? Because any other platforms? Because I think on Steam there's like what is it called? Like basically like they call it like virtual gallery or like some platform for artists where you can upload your
Mm.
artwork, quote unquote, and people will, I don't know if people buy it or something, and then they make their
Mm.
own exhibitions. But I found like I visited, I don't know if you have visited those like different platforms, maybe I want to
Mm.
hear what you think before I
Um,
talk about my experience.
I mean, to me, that's still open. Like, I wanted to try Altspace VR, definitely. And then I also wanted to try Frame. Um, but for some reason, I kind of got stuck in VR chat. The only other experience I also have is Mozilla Hubs, and I think that's a very great opportunity for like to connect with other people that you already know, because it's always with invite links.
Right.
Um, but to me, it's like lacking the tool to build an actual community, which is great on VR chat. And I think it's also an Altspace VR. Altspace seems to be more mature. That's why I wanted to try it out for more like event contexts or like workshops and things. I think that's what it's very interesting for. And then there's also some people like just when I started to get on VR, they were like, like we kind of migrate to chill out VR because this becomes such an hassle to be on a platform. So like I already run to people who were interested in a different platform than VR chat, which was
Hmm.
quite funny to be honest. And I feel like there's a lot of things evolving right now in the VR space, and um, that's something I'm very curious about. And yeah, it's something I'm also kind of like I mean, it's always about like taking the time and then finding how things work. I mean, I'm
Right.
just looking at it as from a user perspective, but still, it's something where I need to get used to the tools.
Right.
Um,
And that's
because yeah.
actually, yeah, like that's something I wanted to ask because so this is like basically just a tool, and like do you like what, as an artist, like what do you think will be your output, or it doesn't matter, or like how do you think? Like, is it a space, or is it like the event that you create, or is it something more how do you say, ephemeral, that you call it artwork?
To me, right now, this is really a lot of basically exploring. It's like research, but in a very playful way, which is
Right.
part of the territory we're in. But my output right now is, or what I would like to have in the end, or like it's very wide. Like it could be anything. But what I really would like to achieve is like the knowledge on how to build spaces and worlds, and how to make them interactive, because I feel like that plays such a huge role in the experience. Like when you can touch things, when you can move them around, when there's an opportunity to change things and to interact with your environment, even if you're just on desktop, it feels so much different than just being in a space where everything is already fixed, and you cannot do anything as a user. You don't get these experiences of presence, and that's something I'm interested in right now. And I'm actually more looking on it as being a hybrid in the end. Like I hope there's a way to connect the physical experience to the virtual one. So I'm the kind of like I'm kind of like it's like I'm trying to right now I'm trying to build something which is very versatile, so I can in the end have the freedom of like choosing how it takes place. I mean, I also feel myself as like since my whole photography work was based on self-portrait, I'm thinking if this is changing anything about how I am seeing myself, like if I will develop some kind of alter ego in this space, or like if I can appear as a streamer maybe someday. That's everything like I'm very curious about. I'm very open to. Like I mean,
See.
especially the experience right now with not turning my camera on in the Zooms, but having a virtual avatar.
Right.
I'm still not sure if it's like super irritating to people, or if it's something people enjoy, or like something that maybe makes a conversation easier. Like to me, at least, the Zooms feel easier because I'm not so focused on my own image and what I'm presenting out there, because I'm kind of know that it's looking it's a very controlled image I put out there. And also like
So you have when you have the seminar, you show your avatar, like with, like rigged with your like talking. Is it a VR chat, or is it like a different tool that you're using?
it's called BC Face U, and it's a free software developed by like some kind of GitHub dude.
I see. So it's like an open
Or like,
source thing
and yeah, it's
with like
open source, and like
volunteers. Yeah.
every yes, and everyone can basically alter it to what they need. Like, and right now it's just running a face tracking software, which is working with my webcam, and it uses some kind of tracking points. And then it's rigging the VR. It's a VRM model that I'm uploading in it, and then it's rigging my movements to the face of the model. And if I have more advanced equipment, I can also do finger tracking, so I could use my hands, which would be very great. But those things are very expensive. But I'm kind of like thinking about getting the Leap Motion Tracker, because that would be like really cool, because that's something I'm really missing right now. I'm like not having my hands to make gestures.
I see.
That feels a bit yeah, it feels like a bit decreasing, like, or like kind of annoying, especially if everyone's waving goodbye and you're like stuck to the frame with like the arms down because you didn't actually have arms. So a
Right.
bit frustrating.
I mean, that's not like a super expensive thing, right? It's like probably less than 100 euro, or maybe you can get it at the
Mm.
school. I don't know if they have similar things. Uh, yeah, I think it's really cool because I think like finally, um, it has some kind of useful application, because before Leap Motion was like they built it for VR or some kind of futuristic interaction, but somehow it didn't really fly, I think. And now, with the like avatars and stuff, it's somewhat useful. So that's really cool to see, I think. And yeah, I don't know what direction would be interesting, but so you said, yeah, you show your avatar in the Zoom, but like for you, is it like, oh yeah, I had one thing I wanted to talk about, because so my question was like, would it be fun if like one seminar is in like this kind of environment? Actually, one of the seminars is in the 2D, what is it called, work adventure. Um, like on the browser, you can, like a RPG game, you can, walk around, and if you come close to someone, you can talk to someone. Well,
Mm.
actually, that's not a real seminar. I think you cannot get shine. But there's also like
Mm.
another seminar from Tobias Hartmann and Max Schweder. He's a collaborator of mine, and actually there's like a seminar tomorrow morning, I think. The idea is they collaborate with this City Leaks festival, and
Mhm.
because now it's impossible to gather in real life, so how can we do it like hybrid? And so, like, one of the ideas, I don't know if they will really do it, if we will really do it, but to use hubs. So if you're interested, maybe that's something to
Mm.
join. That'll be great, I think.
That sounds really good because I'm actually missing a variety in like how we make the seminars right now, how we meet. Like, I know it's kind of overwhelming for most people, but I really like to do platform hopping, like to meet in one seminar on Mozilla Hubs, and then the other one maybe we meet in a Rise Up pad and just text.
Right.
That's something I just recently heard of. Another school, like they had a experimental writing seminar, and they were basically just communicating the whole semester through a Rise Up pad, and they
I
were
see.
writing little passages and texts, and I think that was a really cool way to do some group writing while being isolated. And um, to me, and that's also something I, for example, really like about the Phil Collins seminar right now, is that there's some active effort to bring our students together with like working with each other. And I think that's really, really good, and something I hope that we become better and better with, because I feel like that's something we really have to try to interact and to work with each other, even if we cannot be physically in the same space.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, like this is like a big question for myself, like how to make a space like online where is not just video call. And like last year I was trying a lot of like community works
Mm-hmm.
that I organized so many things, and then now well, I had some I'm burnt out, and then also I am really tired of social media, and like now I'm trying to reach out to people like without social media and see how I can build something new. And this idea of podcast, it's just like really spontaneous, but I had in my mind was that yeah, like how to reconnect with people, and like somehow I want also to document that, so it's not just like have like a big party and everyone has like fun, but also like what can I leave, like that's like my research question. But also like I think it's not just like something to, yeah, it can be fun to leave something. So I mean, recording this, put it online could be like, first step. Also, like I was experimenting with like transcription, like automated transcription. So I will try to do it with this recording and see what kind of text will come out. I think it's not going to be perfect, but it can be fun, and maybe we can use that text and remix something or convert it into a poem or something. So I'm just like trying to think about what's possible from this kind of online networking without like classical platforms. In that sense, I think VR chat is really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think podcasts are a great opportunity to have really, really intense conversations with a small amount of people, like even one person, like a dialogue like we have right now, or with 3 people. Like I think there's so much in the end that it's just leaving a very great experience, even if I'm just listening to someone in a podcast and they just talk about personal anecdotes, or they talk about their experience on VR chat, or their experience. Like recently I watched a stream about VTubers. Like a VTuber was actually with another podcast, so they invited her, and she was appearing as her virtual avatar, and they were like real life people, and I think the mix was very interesting to me. And also I feel like it's just a great way to exchange ideas, and to, even if it's kind of like it's not really something that is like a very manifested project or work, but
Right.
it's something that can have a variety of forms, or even if you just listen to something, it can still leave an impression, on an impact on different people. And even if it's just yourself, if you're like, I can really relate to this feeling of being overwhelmed by social media, because trying to get people together can be really tiring, especially if you feel like there's not that much energy coming back. So and that, especially in the online uh, world, like this is so difficult, because there's a lot of like unreliability, like people are not very committing, and I think that's something that's very tiring, like especially because since we're like in an art school, in an art environment, like it's so difficult to have reliability and to have commitment. And that was something that I missed from the beginning, when we started with online classes, that people would just disappear and you would not hear any word of them, and that makes it very hard to form groups, or any source of regularity which you would have, and if you just meet in a space.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a good part of it too. Like you can leave anytime, or actually sometimes I well, just because I don't show my camera, so sometimes I'm like in the bathroom, or I'm eating, or I'm dancing. It's quite random, and I really enjoy it. So that's like one good way, but it is true that it's really hard to keep people engaged, and but I think it's also, yeah, like because of the nature of like seminars, because it's recurring, and like it becomes passive like quite easily. I think if you have to go to the campus, then it really changes your attitude. But I think if you're sitting in your room and wake up at 10:30 and prepare for the seminar, that's really not encouraging or engaging. That's really true. And
yeah, I think engagement is a really huge word. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you. I
no.
just wanted to point out, like, this idea of engagement. It's just completely changing in an environment of webcam classes and talks, because a lot often like the whole audience is just disappearing, as you said. Like there are people who are just black screens and there's a name on it, and like you don't have this immediate response. And that's something that kind of changes VR chat for me, because if people are on a headset, or like even if you have just this kind of presence, the virtual presence, you can move around your head. And to me, it brings this kind of feeling of presence into space, and some kind of yeah, so some kind of interaction. And that's something I really like.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it's definitely a way to get that back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make it too heavy, but like one of the ideas I had, especially like around last summer, I remember because I presented something about that. But because this online thing is, of course, it's changing how we communicate, but at the same time, maybe it's for some people, it's a good actually opportunity to make it better for them. For example, I'm autistic, and it's always hard to talk to people. And for example, like the reason why I thought maybe podcast is an interesting way, because then I have like a motivation to talk with people and ask questions rather than having talk freely, which always is hard for me. And for example, with Zoom, I can like for example, I'm saying for example a lot. Like sometimes I don't want to interrupt. I know that it's not the right time to interrupt when someone's talking, but I want to say something, and then in Zoom or in like video call, I can just type it in the chat, which is really good. So I just start to like type a lot, but that's actually good, for me. And it's not always like a bad thing that it's changing, I think.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that it's all bad. Like, I mean, great is also that we can have people around from all over the world, we're not limited to one location. And then there's also different ways to present things. And then I'm just missing people who take advantage of that. Like we had, I'm not sure if you were in the presentation, but we had Milicia Lopez, her name is so difficult, in the seminar with Julia Scher, and she was entering the Zoom with 4 cameras attached to her car, and she was driving us around her environment in I think Poland. I think it was, or was it in Ukraine? I'm not sure. Like my memory is very bad. But what I can remember is like the 4 devices she installed around her car, and she was giving us a 4 camera view of driving around, like her being on the driving wheel, outside of the driver's window, outside of one window on the left, and the back window. That was amazing. Like it felt like the whole stream, like the whole Zoom felt like a movie.
Wow.
And then she was like multitasking, like she was having a presentation, and then she was also talking about her art and her like how she how studying was at KHM. And it was also very inspiring, because she really did a lot of things, and she has a very different take on art than most people, and that's something I really enjoyed. And of course, like the chat, I mean, I also wanted to ask you like how you're feeling about like your visibility online, because most of the time, or I feel like for a lot of people who didn't meet you beforehand in KM, you're like an enigma. You appear with your like name tag and age. And you don't have your camera on, and I feel like it was really something new to a lot of people when you spoke yesterday in the Zoom. I think that was kind of like some people heard your voice for the first time.
Okay, yeah, maybe. No, I didn't think about it, but yeah, actually, like yesterday and today at Christian's seminar, I just spoke on the microphone because I felt it's easier. But I don't really care so much at the moment. It's just that, yeah. So I don't know if you're in one of the presentations I gave, but actually the reason why I put NH is not, I'm not against anything. It's just that I installed Zoom like quite a while ago, like a few years ago actually. And back then, like I only used it with like some collaborators who's into like network performance, and they say Zoom is like high quality, so we should use this one. And back then I didn't think too much, so, and I didn't want to give my name to this company, so I just said NH instead of my full name, which I always do actually. And then I just kept it, and then people started using Zoom, so I just kept NH. And well, once in a while actually I changed it in auto, but most of the time I kept it, and that's why. So I'm not really against anything. And then at some point I started to feel like it's funny to keep this, and but I'm quite engaged in the chat. I write a lot because I have things to say, and then people start to wonder what this guy is. So yeah, actually that's kind of interesting way to be in a seminar. I think I'm trying to find like different ways. I'm not well, actually, I don't want to show my video all the time, because then I get really self-conscious, and it becomes really tiring. So I don't know how people manage that, or maybe they're not managing. But it's okay. Like if I have to give a presentation, then it's okay to show myself, because if I'm presenting, it's okay. But I cannot be like a neutral way, because that makes it so difficult for me.
Did you think about trying a virtual avatar as well? I mean, everything I'm using it's like the same. It's open source, basically. It's for free.
Yeah, I think the problem for me
can think
is
about it.
Yeah, the problem for me is I don't want to make it nice. So yeah, that's it. Like I don't want to make it like with a proper 3D model and proper rigging of animation. I think that's not my kind of way of doing it. Well, the thing is, like, I think it's basically like, as an artist, I try not to do something that kind of in a straightforward way. Then it's easy for people to judge what is good and what is bad, and then I have to be like really feel like have to be perfect to make it nice, so that people see it, that I'm doing well. But if I do it in a completely wrong way, then people won't be able to judge. So that's why I like to do it that way.
I mean, you can create a super twisted model. That's possible for sure. But yeah, it's just a thought, because like I really enjoy you being active in the chat. Like I really love that you're taking advantage of the possibility of written text, because that's really a plus for the whole virtual communication. Like when you think about something, when you have a response, you can immediately just type it in, you can react to people. And I think that's really, really good, and it changes a lot. And I think that the comments in the chat are very valuable, and it's also great that you can save it, like that you can restore it, and it's much better to look at it than on some notes that you just scratched on your notepad. So
well, I don't know about I don't know about the chat on Zoom, because it's kind of it's really shitty. But yeah, I think we should really combine like Rise Up or Google Docs or whatever that is more doesn't evaporate, that's more that, I don't know, stable, or that lasts online, and try to play with it. Actually, I do like a lot of writing practice these days with some of my collaborators, to write on the actually like HTML page or Google Docs, and just write random stuff, not completely together. Like we have our own sections, but we see what each other's writing, and we pick some ideas, or when we talk about things based on what we wrote, which I think is really interesting way to collaborate.
That sounds great. And we have one seminar on Discord. Like, do you think that's good? Like, because there's also then written text and video combined and like different ways of screen sharing.
Yeah, but Discord is still like kind of separate. Like it's in the end it's for gamers, so it's okay if you can chat with someone and if you can stream the video, but it's not the place where you want to leave things. I mean, you can pin messages, but it's still, you know, it's not there, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not
maybe,
really there for like a working environment. I see that, yeah.
yeah, maybe you have to like work with like Discord bots and stuff and try to make something like
That's
a
what I'm trying
Discord
in my
sculpture.
server.
I see.
But it's difficult. Like for me, really, like getting people online is like what's not working right now. That kind of, you know, that's kind of dependent on the people and how they approach digital communication. And maybe a lot of people feel like you at the moment. Maybe a lot of people feel burned out by all these social platforms.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I think I'm gonna close it somewhere around here because I feel thirsty and I think it's I don't know. But I think we have like a lot more to talk about, but maybe you can visit. Well, I'm visiting you, but we can meet in the studio again sometime and then we can record another one. So for
Sure.
yeah, if you have any last words for the recording, please.
Last words for recording. I mean, thank you for the great time, the conversation, and like also to me it was kind of like the first one-to-one talk with yeah, with a friend about what I'm actually working on right now, because I for some reason I kept a lot of things just secretly and I just worked on it. And it was the first time to trying to manifest some ideas, like where I could go with VR chat right now or with virtual avatars. Yeah, thank you for the possibility and also for letting me explore the YouTube studio for VR chat.
Oh yeah, it's actually YouTube. It has the YouTube name on the wall, so I'm gonna just say it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. And I don't know if Luisa has a channel. I can also put your link. But yeah, please subscribe and thank you for watching.
Bye.